So I'm going to go ahead and get started now, and I'm just going to say hi. My name is Nina Saunders, and I am the auditions chair for the Texas Educational Theater Association. I've been doing this for a little bit of time now, about 6 years now, but this is our second year to do virtual auditions. And so today, this Zoom meeting is all geared towards students and their teachers and parents, for anybody who needs to know about what to expect with this year's audition. I will say, in all of this process of changing over and us having to be adaptive to the Zoom platform, one thing that I feel like we have benefited from in this last pandemic is we've been able to do auditions in a very beautiful format, in that it's allowed for us to create an all digital version of auditions, which I have only received very positive feedback from auditors about how streamlined it is. In so much so that once we do return back to in-person auditions, we were going to keep the digital format as well, because we're going to have, we'll just eliminate the video portion that we're doing right now. So because it really does streamline all the information for auditors to help them find the students' work. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys, I'm going to let my cohorts, my little partners in crime here, introduce themselves. So you guys meet me, I'm Nina Saunders, and I'll pass it over to John. If you want to introduce yourself, John.
Hi there, my name is John Grimmett, and I am the Design Fest chair and in charge of technical theater auditions for TxETA. I'm also the head theater director at Glenda Dawson High School in Pearland ISD in Pearland, Texas.
Thank you, John. I forgot to mention that part. I am a MFA theater candidate at the University of Houston. I teach as a graduate teaching assistant over there this year, but I used to teach at Goose Creek Memorial High School and I taught high school for 15 years. So my other little cohort here is the all-encompassing, amazing Darv. Darv, do you want to introduce yourself slightly? Or are you good with being lingering in the background?
Well, I can introduce myself. Here I am. My name's Darv Smith. I work at the TA office as the admin assistant, and basically do anything that Nina wants me to do. So there you go.
And not just me, like he's amazing. He does a lot for a lot of us. So feel free to send him some love whenever you see him in person or even in the chat. Awesome. So just really quickly, quick show of hands. Raise your hand if I have, for my teachers I have in the room. How many teachers do I have here? I know I saw Juliet over there. Anybody have any virtual hands? Got 1, 2. Lovely. Okay, so mostly students. Fabulous. We got 2 hands going. 3. Fabulous. People are finding their emoji. Oh yeah, I guess I probably should do mine as well. Lovely. Okay, fabulous. And so then raise your hand if you are a student auditioning this year. Raise your hand nice and high. Oh, there's where all the little hands pop up. Beautiful. Okay. I like to know what my audience is before I kind of gear my material towards you guys. Thank you, Hendrix. That was amazing. I love that. That was fabulous. Awesome. And do I have any auditors in here, any college representatives who are kind of wanting to know more information about auditions this year? Raise your hand. Feel free to lower your hand if you're not an auditor. Okay, cool. Juliet is auditing this year. I'm messing with her because I know her. So, okay, fabulous. Yeah, so, okay, cool. So no auditors. Viviana, are you an auditor? No. Okay, fabulous. Okay. So what's important, so that's good to know, because what I was going to start off saying is, if you've come as an auditor, I can give a quick little auditor piece and then I can let you guys go on your way. If you do know somebody who is an auditor, if those of you who are teachers and are wanting more information, we will be having our auditor how-to on November 1st. It'll be a Zoom link just like this, and that'll be the same day that the audition websites become open and available. So what I'll do is I'll guide the auditors through how to go through everybody's files. Okay, so Without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. Good evening. Thank you for sharing your beautiful Wednesday with me, and I appreciate you taking your time. Congratulations on the process of getting ready to audition. This is really exciting. And so you have an opportunity to showcase your work to a whole bunch of different colleges. We typically have anywhere from 30 to 50, depending on the year. I will tell you, with the Zoom platform and the online option, we typically have more colleges that show up for auditors than we do on years that we only do it in person, and that's actually a benefit for you guys. Another beautiful thing this year is, in order to audition, you guys only have to pay $30 to audition. Super, super cheap. It's only the cost of your membership. And so by paying for your membership for TxETA, then you're allowed to audition with that. So that means, teachers, you have a deal, because you don't have to put these kids up in a hotel. You don't have to worry about transportation. We're doing it all digitally for you guys. And so this makes for a really great opportunity for you to get your voice out there to a lot of different people. Okay. So, what I wanted to kind of stress when it comes to auditions is really, my job and Darv's jobs and John's job, all of our job, is to take all of the material that you guys send us for your audition, and we're going to put it in a very streamlined website-based kind of situation, so that it's easy for the auditors to navigate through and look at every student's work. Okay, that's our job. So we're going to make it look kind of uniform in those ways as far as the layout goes, so that in order for the actual layout of your site to look the same, for them to be able to easily find your documentation. That's our job. Your job is to submit really amazing material. So taking the opportunity to create several different documents and submitting those documents in order to make your website look really nice. Okay. Now, in addition to this, if you want to go above and beyond as a student and you want to create an auditions website, you are more than welcome to. It's not required at all, but if you have your own website that you've been working on and you want to include that in your audition, that will be put in your contact information. And that's an opportunity for you to really go in and get more detailed if you'd like. What's really nice about a website, your own personal website, is you can customize your website at any time, because you have the ability to edit your website up until the very first day of auditions, which is November 1st, right? Okay. That being said, the materials that are required to be submitted to me so that I can create your website has to be submitted by October 24th. Okay, so that's your deadline. You have a couple of weeks now to be able to put it together for the materials that I need to create your website that it's going to be the same for all students. Okay, but if you want to create a website on top of that, then you can edit that up to November 1st. Okay, after October 24th, I'm not going to be taking any more people's materials, because I'm going to have over 100, it's usually about 150 students' websites to create, and I need a good week to get that done. And whenever I'm getting last minute stuffs and changes and things like that, then it becomes too much for me to be able to edit. Okay, so especially to get it to go live in time. So that's my first recommendation, is if you are someone who wants a little bit more time to kind of beef up your stuff, you're welcome to create a website. There's actually not any limitations for what you put on your website, so you can go into even more detail on your website if you'd like. Okay, so that's something to know. But the websites you're creating for TxETA, let me show you guys what that is entailed. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you the guidelines on how to get to the guidelines on our TxETA website, so that you can have access to this material long after this webinar is done, because I know it's 7 p.m. and maybe you haven't eaten yet, and maybe some of this stuff is going right over. So I'm going to show you guys how to get to the important links in order to find what you need. Okay, I will also be posting these links in the chat as I'm going along, just so you guys can click on those links and follow along with me. Okay, but I'm also going to be sharing my screen so you can see. So if you, in addition to that, this meeting is also going to be recorded, so you'll be able to go back and reference this if you need to. Okay, cool. Before I get started with showing you guys this, do we have any preliminary questions? Feel free to pop those in the chat, and as I go along, I'll happily answer. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Okay, So, and if my happy little moderators, if you'll let me know if I'm missing a chat piece, I'll try to keep that moderated as well. But if I miss something, feel free to let me know. So here, let's see. Let's start with Okay, this is the TxETA website. I'm going to post this link into the chat. You guys probably already know how to get here, but if not, here's the main website for TxETA. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go into the events category and select Theater Fest. Okay, so that's this piece here. I'll go ahead and give you guys that link in the chat. You guys are all getting my links, okay, yeah? Cool, okay, awesome. Once you're on the Theater Fest website, you can scroll down to where it says Auditions, and you can click on Auditions Details. Okay, once you get there, you're gonna get to a website that looks like this for acting and technical auditions, okay? Actually, I'll just show you how it goes. There you go. And this is going to take you to this document here that tells you everything and more than you ever want to know about auditions. So I'm gonna copy that into the chat so you guys have access to this doc. Okay. So if you are doing acting or technical auditions, that is there. If you are just doing Design Fest and technical auditions and you're not doing the acting portion, this is your link. Okay. So you guys have different links. Okay. If you are an auditor, you know somebody who is an auditor, that link for their site is right down here. Okay. So let's just look at this really quickly together because I know most of you have already seen these pages, so I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I just want to make you guys aware. Today, we're doing our Zoom meeting on how to create a digital audition. This is designed for all of you guys so you know what's required, okay? This has my email on it. Okay, this is important because you're going to need to ask me lots of questions pretty soon. You can also email John. He's the one who's heading up the technical audition side. But I will let you guys know that feel free to email both of us if you're dealing with either one, because there may be something that John might need to bounce off of me, and John will always forward that stuff to me. Feel free to email both of us, and between one of us, we'll definitely get you guys a response back. Okay. What are the acting auditions? So what it is you guys are creating a digital audition, okay? And the last day for you to register and submit all of your information for auditions is October 24th, okay? So you need to make sure you have that $30 paid and everything submitted, okay, by October 24th, okay? The first day that the college and the university auditors will access these web pages is November 1st. So there's a little bit of buffer time, okay? But I'm not taking any other materials to go onto your web pages. However, remember, you can still go in and edit your own personal website. And I'll show you guys what that looks like in just a second. Dates for auditors to contact and meet with audition participants. You may hear something as early as November 1st, okay? We have a few auditors that are in there at 8 a.m. on November 1st, and they're contacting you guys, and they're super on it. There's some auditors, however, though, that aren't going to look at it till the 9th because they're in the middle of a show or whatever, okay? And they might actually not even look at it till the 9th, and they may not contact you until after that. So they have your contact information. They're just going to lose access to the web pages on November 9th. Okay, so they'll have access to all of your contact information though, because they have already gone through your website. So I did have students last year say to me, oh my goodness, I haven't received any phone calls, like what's going on? Don't worry. They have till November 9th to be able to contact you, and they may even contact you after that. Well, typically what they'll do is they'll send out a contact and then they'll set up a time to do an after meeting virtual interview. Okay. Now, for their own personal callbacks, they are welcome to contact you back in any kind of way that they'd like. Okay. So they can contact you back using a Zoom platform. Some schools use Teams, all kinds of different opportunities for them to contact you back. And so they'll be contacting callbacks on their own platform. That is not actually done through us. So if you're wondering about contact information for a callback, then wait for the school to contact you, and then you can respond back to that. Okay. From them. Don't ask me about your callback because I won't know, because they've set those up privately with you guys. Okay. Okay, so what do you need to know about this? We will have up to 50 college and universities represented. It's 7 o'clock or past 7 now. Well, represented tonight for the audition. And during your callback interviews, college and university representatives will visit with select students. Okay. This year it has been modified. Okay. And what we're doing is this digital platform, which I'm about to show you. Okay. Any student that's participating in the acting auditions, you are going to be expected to pay your $30 membership here. Okay. Then once you've paid your $30 membership, you need to contact me with your information so that I can give you the link to submit your materials. And then after that, you will be submitting your information through 2 ways. I'll have you fill out a Google form, and you'll also upload some information to the Dropbox. I will tell you, the Google form is probably the most important thing of this situation, okay? Because the Google form is going to go into a massive spreadsheet. I give that spreadsheet to all the auditors, and they use that as their Bible as they're going through all of the audition pieces. So make sure that you fill out all the questions on the Google form, okay? So whenever you go to submit, you're going to upload your materials to Dropbox, and you're going to fill out a Google form. 2 things, okay? For acting auditions, what you're going to send in is your headshot, your contact information, your resume, and a video that needs to be created by you, stored on YouTube, okay? And then you're going to want to make sure, we're going to talk about that process later, but make sure that you make your video unlisted, okay? Unlisted means that it's not public and everybody can't go see it. If you want to make it public and you're cool with that, that's fine, but don't make it private, okay? Because otherwise what has to happen is you have to authorize every single person for watching your video. And I'm going to show you an example video of one of the students last year. And as you'll see on there, he's already had 39 views from different auditors on his video alone. Okay. So you're going to have to go in and give approval for 39 different people. And by the time you give approval, they might've already moved on from you. So make sure that you make it unlisted or make it public, either one. I don't mind either one. Okay. But don't make it private. Okay. Auditors will view all of the acting auditions and they will contact you through Zoom, Google Hangouts, or whichever they prefer. Okay. So steps are register for membership. Step 2, there's the link to do it. Step 2, you're going to select what you would like to do for your membership. After you register, then you're going to email me, okay? And you're going to tell me your name, contact information, phone number. I've gotten a bunch of yours already, okay? So know that I have your stuff. Just because I haven't emailed you out back personally doesn't mean I haven't received it. I have a ton of people's that I'm going to send out one big mass email after this info session, okay? So that you guys can know what the next steps are because we haven't opened up the website yet, that's why. So you're going to make sure to tell what the name of your high school or community college is, who's the name of your instructor, classification, all of this stuff needs to be in here. But the most important thing that I need to know, and this is something that people often forget to give me, and I'll have to contact you back because it depends on how I sort you right at the very beginning, is are you doing an acting audition, a musical theater audition, a technical audition, a theater education audition, okay? This determines which category that I sort you in. Now, you are welcome to fill it out in multiple categories, okay? So if you're wanting to do an acting audition and a technical theater audition, that's perfectly fine. You have to submit the materials for both, okay? And I'll tell you what that means in just a second. So when you go to submit the materials, you'll have 2 separate folders, and one will say acting audition and one will say technical theater audition. So what happens is we have some auditors who only care about the technical auditions because they're a technical theater teacher and they want to only look at those guys. Okay. So if that's the case, then they're only look at technical theater. They're not bouncing over and looking at acting as well. So that's why we put you in the correct categories so that the auditors can find the people that they are most attuned to. Yes, you can email me now for sure. Go for it. Okay, so step number 5 is the final step, okay? There is absolutely no limitations on how many students can audition from each school. There's absolutely no limitations for the number of students who can participate in acting auditions. That used to be limited. Okay, so now feel free to just go ahead and take your opportunity. In years past, there was a maximum limit, but because we're doing digital auditions and we're not confined by time and space, the email is at the top of this form here. So I sent you guys that link right here, the doc. Our emails are right there at the top of that doc. So if you go into the chat and you check that Google Doc link that I gave you guys, our emails are both up there in the top. Okay. So, okay, so then this is acting auditions. You're going to submit, we're going to talk about this a little bit more in a second, okay? But participants will submit a link to a video containing 2 1-minute contrasting monologues. For musical theater auditions, you're going to send a link for a video containing 1 1-minute monologue and 1 song, which is 16 bars. We recommend no acapella. Okay. Yes, you can audition for both acting and musical theater, but that means 2 different videos. Okay. So you will submit a video that's just 2 contrasting monologues that's 2 minutes, and you'll submit a video for a monologue and a song. Okay, so if you want to audition for both, you totally can. Now I'll say what, so I work at the University of Houston, right? We don't typically look at a lot of the musical theater auditions because we don't have a major that specifies in musical theater auditions. That being said, we still do musicals occasionally, like we're doing Little Shop of Horrors in May this year. Okay, so if we know that that's coming up, we may look at musical theater auditions. But if it's a college that doesn't offer a musical theater program, we may not look at your musical theater audition. Does that make sense? So that's why if you want to do acting and musical theater, you're more than welcome to, but you do have to submit 2 videos to do that. Okay, and they submit as 2 separate auditions. You can sign up for one or for both. Okay. Technical audition people will also be a part of the Design Fest. That's just kind of automatic for that. And for technical auditions, you actually get a 5-minute video to showcase your portfolio. Okay. And the reason for that is we're letting you kind of walk through and talk about your process and things like that. So this is kind of taking the place of, thank you, Darv. Okay. Yes, we're going to talk about how to audition and how to slate in your audition video. Yes, you should slate it in your audition video. Okay, if we are doing acting, would you prefer a video with both monologues or 2 separate videos? Oh, do not do 2 separate videos. Yes, 1 video, both monologues, with preferably no pauses in between. So if you can just go straight from 1 monologue to another. I know as a college auditor, typically what they like to see is they like to see the shift from the comedic to the dramatic. Okay, so they like to see your process that you have whenever you switch from one contrasting monologue to another. It tells a lot about you as an actor. Okay, John,
Nina,
you're going to share something? Sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, there was a question about does the musical theater monologue have to be from a musical? And I didn't know if you answered that, and I was just spacing out on that question. But
oh yeah. No, that's a great question. When it comes to selecting your material, I highly recommend you select material that you feel matches who you are as a person, but also matches the institution that you're going into. So if you're looking at going to an institution that has a very strong musical theater program, then you're going to want to make sure that you pick a song from a musical for your musical theater audition. Okay. If you're going into an institution that does kind of non-contemporary musicals, you probably are going to want to pick a non-contemporary musical song for your audition. Okay. This is personal preference. Okay. So I lend for questions of what kind of monologues to select and what kind of songs to select, I always default to say, ask your professor. Your professor knows you. They know what kind of institutions you're interested in going into more than I do. I can tell you what my personal experience is and with my students and with my program, but I cannot answer that question for all programs because every program is unique. Okay. So personally, if I was auditioning for a musical theater program, I would pick a song from a musical because you want to showcase your voice in that way. You're probably not going to want to audition with a pop song. So that's my kind of advice that I would give. I will say that not every institution feels that way. Okay. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's not the case for your institution. Oh, I remember, I'm going to actually give you guys a good website that you can go to for looking for which school might be the best school for you. Okay, let's see. Would you send 2 separate emails for each video if we're auditioning for both musical theater and acting? Okay, that's a great question, Adam. So whenever I send you the link for the Dropbox, you're going to have 2 separate folders for your materials. Okay. And for that, so you could send it as 2 separate emails if you'd like, or you can put it into one. I can crunch those things. The only time that it becomes hard is if you don't send everything and you're like, okay, I'm in an acting audition and you send your stuff for technical auditions or something like that. That's when I'm like, okay, I'm confused. And then we have to have an email exchange trying to get you guys on the same page. So if you want to send them together, I can totally handle that. That's not a problem. Okay.
Nina,
Okay.
I do have
Yeah,
a question.
sure.
I don't know how many technical students are out in the house. Are there any? Could you just raise your hand really quickly if you're a technical student? Oh, yay. Okay, we have a handful in here.
Yeah.
I would say probably the same. And Nina, you certainly have more experience in running these auditions. And so when you're doing a technical audition and you're focusing on a specialty, you're going to want to look at, maybe the colleges that you're auditioning for and look at what kind of shows that they're doing. And if they, I would say that an institution like the University of Houston is very well rounded. They do a lot of a contemporary play, a classical play, and they're even doing a musical this year, which is super exciting for me as a former music student at the University of Houston. But I think that if your portfolio of set design is all musicals, you might want to show some variety. Am I right on that, Nina?
Yes. So definitely as far as like an audition, you're going to want to show range. So that's something that's helpful in musical theater is if you can show what your range is. Now, don't pick a song just because of range. I would pick a song that you feel like this is your jam. Like if you had a theme song and you were like, if you were in a movie and you were bursting through the doors and this was your time to shine, then this would be the song you would sing because you want to pick a song that showcases you as a person. Okay. You can play a character. Feel free to go out there and play that character in that musical piece, but it needs to be your jam. If at any point in the song you're not feeling like you're feeling yourself to use the lingo, if it doesn't feel like it's you, if you feel like you're cracking that one note or you feel really uncomfortable in this one part and it never feels comfortable, pick a different song. Pick one that like you feel like you're gonna rock. Okay. So show your range, so show what you can do. That's what I recommend too. I have this really great website that I love. I'll put the link in the chat for you guys. I always used to give this link to my students. Yeah, we're going to go through each one. I'm talking about acting right now, but we'll go through technical theater and theater education as well. Okay. I'm going to put this link in the chat. I really love this website because it's a good search feature for looking for what kinds of programs you want. I will say though, as you're looking for institutions, don't just rely on this website, go to the institution as well. So for instance, I used to teach in New Mexico and the Santa Fe School of Art and Design is no longer there, but it is still listed on this website. Okay, so make sure that the institution still is offering the thing that you're looking for. Don't just rely on the website to be completely accurate. Okay, so although when you do go into the actual website for it on the institution, they say they have closed now, but that's something that you guys can use as a resource. I really love this resource for students to help find the right school that's fit for them. It also will rank it according to the type of program, the type of degree, and also by state. Here you can bring it down. You can look at region, popular cities. You can search there. So if you know where you're wanting to go. So these are just really nice options for you guys. And I just give that to all my students. Awesome. Okay, so for auditioning here, also know that you are auditioning for colleges, but this process is really about you. You guys are like auditioning schools at the same time. Okay, so this is kind of a reciprocal agreement. Okay, you're trying to fill out a school, you're about to make this investment in your life. You're trying to fill out a school to see if they're right for you. Do they have the right kind of I'll try to put this up so I can look at you guys and see facial reactions. Oh, it's not gonna let me. Okay, let's do it this way. New. There we go. How about that? Fabulous. Okay. So so you're looking for a school that's going to be fitting. You're auditioning them just as much as they're auditioning you. So they're looking for a fit for their program. You're looking for a fit for your life. Is this a place that you're wanting to live? Are you going to live in grandma's basement who lives up in Dallas? Or are you going to stay with your parents? Or do you plan to live on campus? Or do you, so you need to think about those things. You're auditioning a program just as much as they're auditioning you. The best thing that I can really recommend when you're looking for a program is look at what their show season looks like. Look at the quality of the products that they're producing. And if they're similar to the shows that you like to do, then you know it's a good fit for you. Okay. So if you're like, man, I hate Shakespeare, and you go to and you go to their website and every year they do 3 Shakespeares, maybe not the best college for you, right? You might want to pick something that's more in your wheelhouse. But if they do like 1 Shakespeare, you're like, I could hang with Shakespeare for a show and I can do the other shows as well. Then you know that might be more of a fit for you. Okay. So, and don't just look at the past year, because we've just gone through this crazy COVID thing. And so seasons have been weird for the last couple of years. Look at their track history of what they've done over a long period of time. So to just look at this last year, look at multiple years. Then when it comes to the callback part, that's your time for you to really audition your auditor. Okay. That's for when you don't be afraid to ask all the questions. Okay. Where's a good place to eat on campus? How late is, your favorite diner open till, I made the mistake of doing it my undergrad in a town where everything closed at 10 p.m. Well, in the theater world, we didn't get out till 10:30. So it was hard when you were hungry. So we had to pre-plan. So, that's something to take into account. You think about your lifestyle and what you're wanting. Transportation is huge. How close do you want to live on campus? Do you want to take public transportation? Do you want a bike? U of H people, we got them on all kinds of wheels coming to campus because parking, it can be difficult. So taking all those into a factor as well. Okay, let's talk about the auditions some more. I'm sorry about that. I kind of got off on a tangent about making sure that this process is for you.
I just wanted to jump in real quick, Nina, and also say, an important question I think that may be obvious but isn't always obvious is, what opportunities might you have on campus in that department given the post-pandemic situation? I should say post-pandemic, but I mean we're more open now than we were. Pandemic still going on, obviously, but that's a reality that a lot of people are facing in theater schools. And so, if you're looking to get your hands on experience, and some programs may not have that as much as others, that's just a good indicator that you're going to want to maybe check that out in your one-on-one with the auditors.
Yeah. Are they only doing Zoom theater? Are they offering drive-in theater? I've seen all kinds of amazing, innovative ways of doing theater. Something else that might be interesting in looking at an institution is, is there other opportunities? Like I know in Houston, what's really nice is there's lots of theaters that you can get additional work in if you're going to an institution in Houston. Same thing for Dallas or whatever, if that's something that's important for you. Looking for those kind of institutions that do those things. Or if you're like, no, I want a smaller program. I started out in a small program, and what's really nice about starting a small program is you get to do a little bit of everything. So it's not quite nearly as specialized, and you're able to kind of navigate your way till you find what you're meant to do. I started out as an actor, turned director. That was kind of my path. So I didn't know like right out of high school exactly what I wanted. So a smaller institution allows for you to do multiple things. And my smaller institution also gave me opportunities to design. So that's why I'm a designer and a director now. Cool. Okay, let's move on. So founder scholarships is another option you guys have to do. I will say founder scholarships are worth it. They're $4,000 in every single year for the past at least 4 years. I've been doing this for 6 years. We've had an area that only had 1 or 2 or 3 applicants in it. So like your possibilities of getting chosen as the founders scholarship recipient is really, really high, especially if you are a student from community college. We don't have as many people do those, and also technical theater. Okay, that's not saying that acting you're not going to get it too, but I'm just saying that we always are a little bit low on that side. So please do the founder scholarships. It's $4,000. That's a computer. You're going to need a computer. You're going to need a new computer, especially now in COVID. Like that's a computer and maybe a car. I don't know. Depends on how much you want to spend on your car. So yes, feel free to do founders. That's another option you guys can do. And then who to contact for more information in regards to those. Of course, it's us. Okay. So I'm going to go on to the next website really quickly. This is for technical theater. So you guys were asking about what to do if you want to do a technical audition. So you're doing a 2-minute video, a headshot, your contact info if you're acting. If you're technical, you're doing a headshot, contact info, resume, a video created by the student stored on YouTube. Remember, it needs to be unlisted or public. Okay. And then you're also going to create a portfolio. Okay, wait, where's the thing? Here we go. This is the same. Where's the part? Oh, this one. Did I click on the same link? Here we go. I was on the wrong one. Sorry about that. Here we go. So for your technical audition, we do ask for a headshot just so that they can see a visual representation of who you are, even though in person we didn't require the headshot for technical, but now we do. Contact info, portfolio photos. Okay. When we say portfolio photos, we're looking at things like if you were in UIL theatrical design, those are great portfolio photos, things like that. Anything that might showcase your portfolio. And I'm going to show you an example of one of my students now who auditioned for technical theater last year, so you can see what they put on there. And then also you have a 5-minute video created by the participant and stored on YouTube, okay, telling about your designs or your technical experience, okay. This is the same for theater education, okay. You have, and so in your 5-minute video for theater educators, I recommend having some things on there like what is your teaching philosophy, maybe. Okay, if you know that just yet. If you don't know your teaching philosophy, feel free to ask your theater professor or your theater director. They will know where to send you for your teaching philosophy. So how do you approach the process of teaching? Or if you have lesson plans created. Another example for theater education is if you've done any student teaching anywhere. So if you've like worked with children's theater and you taught, so I always offered, when I taught high school, we did a children's show every year, and I used my students in order to let them teach the younger students. That counts towards that. Talk about the lessons that you created, how you interacted with them, what your strengths were. Okay, this is where we can go into theater education. And again, talk to your professors about this aspect. Okay. Let's see. And then all the rest of it is the same. Okay, so let's show you what the website looks like. Okay, so say you've sent me all of your stuff. I then will send you, as soon as you send me your stuff, I'm going to send you a little Dropbox link. Looks like this. And you're going to add your files. Okay. When you add your files, please put, we're going to do it exactly like it shows on here. We're going to do last name, comma, and I'll have this in the email that I send you, last name, comma, first name. And then if you'll go ahead and put your school out to the side and then what the file is. Okay. And you can just do initials for your school. I don't need the whole big long, like, you know, school name. Okay. You can just do your initials. So I taught at Goose Creek Memorial High School. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. You can just do GCM. Okay. I can find you, but sometimes I'll have students of the same with the same names. And then if you put your school, then I'll be able to find you a little bit faster. Okay. And then so it'll say last name. So it'll be Saunders, comma, Nina, comma, UH or dash UH, and then headshot. Okay. Saunders, comma, Nina, dash UH. Then I might put resume. Okay. Makes sense. This will also be in your email, but I just want to make very, very clear. It makes my life so much easier if you guys have a consistent format on how you submit your documents. Okay. That's something that happens a lot. If you are doing just Design Fest, we'll send you this Dropbox. Okay. So let's say you submitted all your stuff. You're ready to rock. This is what the auditors will see. Okay. They have this nice little lobby that they can go to and see all of the files. And in this lobby at the bottom of the page, I will have the attachment to their to the Google form that I told you guys you have to fill out. So they have a big spreadsheet, and this is going to be at the bottom. I'm not going to spend too long on there because it has people's personal information from last year. Okay. And then in addition to that, it'll have access to the little video, how-to video from me telling the auditors how to navigate the website. Okay. The very first ballot, the very first thing that they'll have access to here is the Founders Scholarship ballots. Okay. When they click on that, it tells what the scholarship is. Okay. We offer 3 Founders Scholarship Awards, 1 for acting, 1 for musical theater. Actually, I take that back. 2 for acting, 1 for musical theater, and 1 for technical theater and educational theater. Okay. And the eligibility is all on the website, but I put this here for the auditors to see. Then when they go to actually judge you, then I'll have a list of who all has auditioned, and I'm scrolling past this right now. And then they will then put in their vote in this little Google form to say who they wanted to have get that ballot. Okay. In addition to that, I'm going to go into technical auditions. If you have a star next to your name, that means that you are up for a Founders Scholarship. And I'm going to go to one of my students' page. In addition to that, if you are auditioning as a Founders Scholarship person, then you will have a little box here that says Founders Scholarship applicant, and that just lets them know that, oh, okay, this person also has a Founders Scholarship. Okay, so this is what your webpage looks like. This is a technical theater audition, okay? So it has a little bit more than the acting audition website does. I went ahead and changed, this is my student's website. He currently is at U of H, and I got permission from him to be able to use his stuff, and he said he didn't care if his name was on there. So just so you know, I'm not violating his confidentiality. Whoops, let me go back to y'all's view. Okay. And so this is how it's going to be listed. You'll have your headshot up here, your name, your school, your email, your phone number, and then a link to your website right here. Okay. His website has changed. So I'll show you his actual updated website here when we go into that part. But then remember, that's what I said, that you can continue to add it on all the way to November 1st and beyond. Okay. So let's scroll down. He has his theater portfolio here with his 5 shots from his theater portfolio. Okay. And then he actually has more than 5 here. Oh, we just let him put all kinds of stuff in there. Okay, so anyway, the theater portfolio is there. Oh no, I take that back. This is the portfolio portion. These are the 5 shots. So the 5 shots go as individual pictures on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like he only gave 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, here's the 5th one. It looks like it's now corrupt. But there's 5 pictures that will be showcased on your website for technical theater and educational theater. And then you have a portfolio that you can upload. And in addition to that, you will have a little spot for your YouTube video that they can click on. Now, if you don't make this unlisted or public, when we click on it, it'll say they can't access it. So make sure that you have it, that they can click on it, and then they'll be able to view it right inside this little web page right here. Okay. So I'm going to just show you his little piece. Notice that it says unlisted here. I turned down the volume. But this is an example of what a lot of people are like, what do I put on my video? Okay, so this is an example of what he did. I don't know what is over here on the side. Let's just open this guy up. Okay, so what he did is he showcased, so he did for stage management, and he's currently in the stage management program at U of H. So for this, he showed blocking, he showed how he notated in the script, and he also went through the video. Okay, you can do it like this, or you can simply just have this video here where you're showcasing your little production portfolio, and that's fine too. He went through and talked through some of his cues, how he called, his philosophy, all of that. You don't have to be an amazing editor to do all this. If you don't want to, it doesn't have to be quite this, but I was going to show you guys what you can do, how far you can take it, to just give you a little bit of a example. He has a personal conversation here. And yeah, it looks like he talks for a while here at the end. Okay, so that's an example of, whoops, that's the wrong link. There we go. Okay, so that's an example of what you can do as a technical video audition. Now, that being said, I will say the best responses that we have gotten back from auditions, especially in technical theater, are ones where the student has gotten up and been very authentic. Okay, so sometimes being authentic is even better than being polished, right? You don't have to have like all of this look like crazy amazing. It looks nice if you do, but if you get up there and you say, as a theater educator, maybe auditioner, this reminds me of one student we had one year. I want to be a theater educator because I had an amazing director who inspired me, and this is what he taught me. And because of that, I started working as his stage manager, and I want to go on and be a theater educator just like him because I want to do for students what he did for me. And it was a big 5-minute long thing showcasing some of his work. Okay. And he did some set design and prop design. And so he showed, okay, I built this piece, this set. Here's a picture of a set I built. I built this prop, and he showcased that. And that was his 5-minute long thing. Okay, so feel free to be completely authentic. It doesn't have to just be like really nice and polished. Okay, for acting auditions, you are going to want to slate. Okay, so for the slate, you're going to want to say your name, okay, and your school, and what you're performing. Okay, so you don't have to go on and tell a whole description because you only have 2 minutes on your video. You don't have to say, I'm going to be performing Torvald from A Doll's House by Heinrich Ibsen, and this is a play about a husband and wife who did it. No, we don't need all that. Okay, I'm just going to say, I'm Nina Saunders. I'm from Goose Creek Memorial High School, and I will be performing the part of Nora in A Doll's House by Heinrich Ibsen. And then you go into your monologue. Okay. Also, you're going to want to slate for the beginning of the performance for both of your pieces. So if my contrasting pieces are, hi, my name is Nina Saunders, and I'm performing, I'm from Goose Creek Memorial High School, and I'm performing the part of Nora in A Doll's House by Heinrich Ibsen. And my second piece today will be a song from the musical Hamilton, where I'm playing Eliza. Okay. So feel free to share those things, okay? I will say I do recommend that you tell the title of the play and the character of the play because it helps the auditor to place what you're performing, okay? Because if you don't tell the title of the play, if you just go, I'm doing 2 contrasting monologues, then the thoughts that sometimes will go through the auditor's head is, ooh, what play is this from? What play is this from? Oh, what character is that? Oh, and then they take a minute to figure it out. Okay. And they're not focusing necessarily on your audition as much. Okay. Now that being said, these are recorded so they can go back and rewind it to remember, but it just kind of gives them that little bit of cue. That being said, I don't want to trump whatever your teachers have already taught you. If you have a director that says this is how you slate, then do it that way. Do it the way that you've been taught because they know you better than I do. All I need is your name and what school you're at and what you're performing. Okay? Cool, cool. Am I missing questions? Do the 5 shots all have to be from one show? No, it can be multiple shows. You can show an award from UIL Theatrical Design. You can show yourself calling a show, whatever you want your 5 shots to be, but they're supposed to kind of showcase who you are. Okay. Now, if we were to look at an acting website versus this one, then the only difference for that is you would have your resume and you would have your video. Okay, so you don't have to have your 5 headshots in your portfolio. All right, you're showcasing what you can do with your video. All right, let's see. Okay, to go on to the website example, so this is Joseph's website here. On your own personal website, you can go ahead and edit it. Now, a website's not required at all, but he created this on Wix. And so because of this, he has a place that showcases his stage management, a place that showcases his design, a place that showcases his resume, references, non-theater work, and anything about him. You can set up your website however you want. It's totally up to you, not required, but you're welcome to do so if you want to. He uses Wix. I use the website Weebly. This is my website. So here I have my resume, portfolio, and hot contact. I actually need to update my website because I haven't done it in a minute. So you can use this opportunity. So your website you can edit at any time. Okay. Let's see. What else was I going to share with you guys? Any questions about the website? If you're only going acting, can you perform a monologue from a musical? If you're going into only acting, I don't know why you would perform a song from a musical if you were only interested in doing acting and not musical theater. Yeah, a website is not required for anything. Yeah, no. Go ahead, John.
I think the question was, could you do a monologue from a musical?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like, for example, Paul has this wonderful monologue from a chorus line. Would that be acceptable?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I just wouldn't do the musical number. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Yeah. A couple of common mistakes. Triple check your email address. Double, triple, quadruple check your email address. Every year I have a student who gives me a wrong email address. So they might just be like, oh, it's ninasaunders@.com, and they forget the Gmail part or whatever it is. Okay, so make double, triple check your email address. Your contact information is how I get a hold of you. And if I don't have a way to contact you, I can't fix any problems. And it happens every year. Double, triple check your email address. On your video, look for background distractions. I recommend shooting your video about waist up. Okay, that way you can lean in to the camera if you need to, but you're not so far away that I can't see your facial expressions. That's my recommendation for shooting your videos, especially actors. For your clothing, I recommend a neutral palette. So don't pick a shirt or that has a lot going on. So solid colors are preferable. Wear something that you would wear to, a job interview. Okay, but that's solid comfortables, but also something that you're comfortable in. This is not a time to wear your 3-inch heels and your mini skirt, okay? Because you want to be able to move and have all of that. Yes, my contact information in the chat. Let's see, we'll just do it like this. There you go. Let's see. When it comes to editing, showcase yourself. Pick a monologue and pick a song from a musical that here, I'm gonna stop sharing for a second, that you feel showcases who you are as a person. Okay, so pick something that really shows who you are. And don't pick something that you don't feel comfortable in. Okay. So I would recommend looking your favorite, like pick a monologue that you've already done from a show that you've already completed, or pick a song from a musical that you really feel confident in. Showcase who you are. Don't try to be somebody that you're not. Okay, auditors see through that really fast.
I think the same can be said about those of you who are doing technical auditions. You know, your portfolio should reflect not necessarily extremes. It should be a range, right? Obviously, I think auditors are interested in that, but you know, your unique perspective on design is sometimes your strongest point, right? So as you cull together different things, and again, if you have participated in theatrical design contests, that is, you know, that's work that you're going to want to showcase, especially if you were successful in those endeavors. So you know, figuring out your unique perspective in relationship to the work that you're presenting is kind of paramount.
Yeah. And for you, Piper, you can have a 1-minute song and a 1-minute monologue. It doesn't have to be exact. You can do like a minute, 20-second song, and you know, it's like 16 bars, like split it, you know, for a minute, 20-second, you know, monologue and a shorter song. It doesn't have to be exact. So don't worry about it being too exact, but you don't want to be so heavy that it's like a minute, 50 seconds of one and only 10 seconds of the other, because you just love that one monologue. Okay. Try to keep it a little bit balanced, and you want it to be contrasting. So one should be, you know, and contrasting doesn't necessarily mean just comedy and tragedy. It can be, you know, two different, very different types of characters, like the mother character versus the ingenue or whatever, you know. So know that you're presenting contrast like that. I see a lot of Shakespeare monologues. If you're not interested in performing Shakespeare in college, if you're not passionate about going to a program that does a lot of Shakespeare, don't do a Shakespeare monologue. Okay. That's my recommendation. I think people do a lot of Shakespeare monologues because they feel like they have to or whatever. So know that that's, if you audition with a Shakespearean monologue, programs that do Shakespeare are the ones that are going to look at you. Okay. So if you're not interested in ever doing Shakespeare again, you hated Shakespeare, but you have this really good monologue, pick monologues that are based off of what you want to do for your profession. Who do you want to be? Is the slate included in the time limit? No, it is not. So, but try not to take longer than about 15 seconds for your slate. This is not a time to talk about the character arc of the play. So, I mean, I'm not gonna like kick you out if you're 16 seconds, but you know, like try to keep it short, because there's a lot of them for them to go through. Theater educate, what exactly is required in the theater education audition? Good question. Thank you. So what we're looking for is the same thing that we're looking for from the technical theater auditions. You have the same requirements. So you have a 5-minute video you can submit. Now you don't have to take the whole 5 minutes. If you finish 4 minutes, that's fine. But in that video, you're going to talk about why do you want to be a theater educator? Some of your teaching philosophy, your experience with teaching, why you want to go into education, examples, if you've ever created a lesson, showing examples of that, showing pictures of that, talking through why you want to be a theater educator. And then the same is true as you can have a portfolio. So you can have examples of lesson plans in your portfolio. You can have pictures of things that you've done. If you've written a play, if you've led anything in any way, if you've ever been a teacher ever in any kind of capacity, you can put those kind of things in your portfolio. And then you can also choose the 5 key pictures. So if you happen to have a picture of yourself, I had a student who went into theater education. She just started this last year. She's going to West Texas A&M for the theater education program. And she often was the lead student on UIL prose and poetry. And so we had pictures of her leading that team and teaching them and coaching them. And she put that in her theater education portfolio. So any examples of you acting as a leader or a teacher and leading some things or coaching can be helpful. So if you're doing some coaching of voice work for a musical, like you've been assigned as the head choreographer for the musical for your school, and like you have a picture of you teaching that, take those pictures. Those are all process photos, and put those in your portfolio. And if you don't have those pictures now, take them now. Like, I just finished teching a show that opened last week. I had my assistant take a picture of me. I'm about to enter into teching another show. I'm going to have my assistant take a picture of me. So, because I want those process photos of what it looks like to do the work that I do. Am I allowed to do this as a junior in high school? Do I need to be a senior? Oh, good question. We usually open it up to juniors and seniors, but because of the digital platform, last year we only did seniors in high school. Darv, do you have an answer to that question? I think we're only taking seniors this year.
As far as I know, it hasn't been discussed, to tell you the truth. So I do not have an answer at this time.
If you give me 5 seconds, I can bet you I can get an answer. I bet it's only seniors, but let me just double check. Awesome. Am I allowed? Okay. Any other question? Okay. Yeah, we're right at 8 o'clock. I'm going to get that answer probably back in just a second, so I can answer that question in just a second. If not, yeah, he just read it. He's in the process of responding back to me. Yes, only seniors this year, so no juniors this year. Because it is digital and because the price is so low and it's so early in the semester. Okay. Cool. Well, that is all I have for you guys. I am here and I'm an open book. If you want to ask any questions, I'll stay on for a little bit longer so you can ask them. But if not, you're welcome to go off. You have my contact information if you have specific questions. But if you do have a question that might benefit somebody else, if you have a question, feel free to ask me now, because then it'll go into the recording and people who watch this later might be able to benefit from the answer as well.
I did want to say, Nina and I are kind of, our practice is if you email both of us, we will respond, reply all. So that way, because Nina and I have very different schedules and we're rarely all on the same page, at the same exact time. And so it helps when you email both of us and we reply all. So then that way one of us will know at least someone has answered your question. So again, as she said earlier, some of you have already reached out to us, and Nina is going to be in the process of sending out a mass email to, if you've already sent us an email, we're going to be in touch with you very soon here.
Yep. Yes, that's our next steps. So we'll be sending out your information. You guys can start compiling your material, put your resumes together, find some cute headshots. Oh, for your headshots, try not to take a selfie. Get somebody to take you an actual picture. Look how cute. Like, yeah, like there's a ton of people who do it for free for you. If cost is an issue. But yeah, don't take just a selfie in your bedroom. Yeah, go get a cute headshot done. Find a brick wall or a solid color wall and get you a headshot. Is the Founder Scholarship only for Texas schools? Great question. Thank you for asking that, Mina. If you are wanting to go into the state of Texas, Founders is only for Texas for that. So yeah, you have to, if you get accepted, if you win the Founder Scholarship, sorry, then, and you decide not to go into the state of Texas, then we give it to the next person on the list. Yes. So if you're not wanting to stay inside now, that being said, we do have colleges that'll be here from many different states, not just Texas. So, but the Founder Scholarship is just for Texas. Good question. Thank you for asking that. Yeah. Let's see, Teresa. Teresa, in regards to your question, I'm going to connect you with, here, I'm going to send your question to Darv. And then I'll respond back as soon as he gives me a little answer here. I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I don't want to misspeak. Cool. Any other questions? Feel free to come off of not being on video and ask a question. I appreciate John hanging out here with me, so I'm not all alone on video. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Always a delight. What will the auditors do after they review our websites and work? Are they just resources for critique and feedback? Good question. So after they review your work, they should call you for a callback if they're interested in asking you to come to be a part of their program. So then you should be receiving calls. And I remember I had students last year, as soon as auditions opened, they were getting callbacks. And so, and then some students who were like, my friends in class have gotten callbacks, but I haven't gotten callbacks yet. But then they got callbacks later that week. Okay, so some schools will be looking at it on Monday. Some will be looking on Tuesday. Some will be looking at it until the 9th. So just be patient with that. Yes. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, Teresa, I'm coming back at you. Okay, there's your answer there. Do musical theater students also make website? Anybody can make a website. Any auditioner can make a website. Yeah, that's a chance for you to really start shining digitally if you'd like. But again, I've seen students get really big scholarship opportunities without having a big flashy website. So don't throw all your eggs into like that basket if that's not you. Be yourself. Okay, be yourself. Get up there and do what you do best. So if you're an actor, focus on the acting, you know, make sure you have a nice resume, but just focus on the acting. Don't worry about that website. Okay, it's not required in any kind of way. So I think last year we probably had about 30% of the students do a website, so it's not required. And they're not expecting that either. Cool, cool. Still about 25 people on. Do we have other questions? Which schools usually view these auditions? We have a lot of Texas state schools, but we do have schools from other states as well. I can actually pull up the list of who auditioned last year. That's a great question.
Nina, I'm about to hop off because
Sure.
I'm going to go finish teaching my class at San Jack tonight. So
Nice.
they're about done with their project. So if anybody has any technical theater audition questions or Design Fest questions, feel free to email me at the email and email Nina and we'll get you set up.
So here's some, so from 2018, I was just doing this quickly. Here's the 62 colleges we had in 2018. And usually we have the same people come each year. So we have lots of the Texas schools: East Baptist, University of Oklahoma, West Texas, Southwestern, Midwestern, San Jack, Katy, Amarillo, Tarleton, Webster, University of Southern Indiana. Those are lovely people. I love, they're so sweet. University of Texas at Austin, Amarillo, Baylor, Kilgore, SFA, University of the Incarnate Word, Sul Ross, University of Southern Indiana, Galveston, Baylor, UTA, Department of Theater Arts, Blinn, McLennan, UCO, Texas Tech, East Baptist, West Texas Wesleyan, Texas at Arlington, Wharton, and University of Southern Indiana again. Yeah, so those are some people from 2018. It's different each year. I will say we're getting more out-of-state schools now that we're having the virtual option, so than before. Could you share this document or a similar one with the schools? I won't know who all my auditors are until I get closer to the time, but once I have the list of auditors, I will be emailing those out to everybody who's auditioned. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, this is a different year because we postponed TTA, but I already have a large list of auditors for this year because they really enjoyed virtual auditions last year. Cool. Well, If you need to log off, feel free to do so. Take care and have a good night. You have my contact information if you have any other issues or problems or concerns.